loss. I've talked about this on the show a couple of times that when I was 8 years old, my dad died, and how my process probably would have been different from my family's, who were loving and amazing. And I can't say that I didn't have my family just be there for me my whole life, but we just didn't talk about it. And then as you get older, you start to have more loss, and sometimes it comes at you fast and furious, and it's really tough to deal with. And I think it's an area that we don't talk about enough. So there's this great book that Joffrey McClung has written called How Learning to Say Goodbye Taught Me How to Live. And that's a brilliant title because it's very tough to say goodbye. Joffrey, thanks so much for joining us on Author's Corner.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So you did have that series of dominoes, one after another. Tell the audience what happened to you.
Well, my mother got cancer, so I left New York to come and take care of her in Texas. So I left New York, which is the love of my life. My mother did die, and when I was grieving my mother, my best friend, my soul sister, got stage 4 breast cancer. So I helped her move through it. And this book really journals what we went through when she was battling breast cancer. So I lost my hometown, New York. I lost my job in New York, which I loved. I lost my mother. I lost my aunt and uncle during this period as well. And then I lost my best friend. So it was really loss.
Oh, and you journal about it, and that's the power of this because you talk about it. Was there something cathartic in doing that for you?
Oh, certainly. I've always been creative all my life, whether it was in acting or producing or doing television work. And I lost that during the grief period with my mother and also my best friend. I just lost it. So I started to write so that I could wake up my creativity. So I was writing what I had learned during my loss. And it really pulled me out of the funk and made me realize how much I had grown.
Yeah, and it's, what do you think it is? Is it, I think so often we ignore self, and you talk about that. You talk about self-love, and you talk about what that is, and take us through that.
Well, when I was writing the book, I've been doing metaphysical and spiritual work since, the last 30 years, frankly, Kate. And when I was writing the book, I realized that through all my work, I was really heading towards self-love, removing the barriers, healing the wounds, changing the negative beliefs, all the work you need to do. Yeah. And it really, everything boils down to you're either moving through the world in self-love or you're not. And this book really highlights how my best friend continued to do the work to move towards self-love.
Yeah, so watching what happened with both of them and taking your friend through her journey, then and sadly losing at the end of it, I'll call losing because she moves on. But what was that like for her because she had that?
Well, it kept her sane, to be honest, because when you get stage 4 breast cancer, you pretty much go off the Richter scale, in all honesty. So I just said, okay, Rob, you're going to do what you're going to do, but we're going to continue doing our homework because we believe we come here to grow and move more towards light. So I said, we're going to continue doing this. So we would do it. So when she hit fear about death, I said, okay, let's look at death. Let's do some homework on death. We looked at that. When she hit pains from her childhood, we looked at that. We literally did our homework in order to keep her sane and really to keep me from going into the dark tunnel again.
Yeah, wow, that's a good way to put that. We're speaking with Joffrey McClung, and the book is called How Learning to Say Goodbye Taught Me How to Live, and you've explained that. So for people out there who are really suffering, give them a couple of quick tips. Of course, they're going to get your book, but what can they do right now listening to us?
Well, first of all, know that your loss, whether it's a job or somebody's dying in your life or you've moved, whatever it may be, loss comes in all forms. It will end. What you're feeling will end. So hold on to that for dear life, that it will end eventually. But what you need to do is realize that loss can be your greatest teacher. It really can be your greatest teacher if you see it as a master class in your soul's journey through the lessons that we all must create. We all must move through and learn. So I would say look at loss as a greatest teacher, that it will end, your loss will end, and then start paying attention to what pops into your head. Those are the things I would say to do immediately.
So I would say, and you and I talked about this off the air, and you put it this way, or I put it this way, I don't remember, but this is exactly what I thought about with your book. You really have like the cliff notes for people to go through loss, how they can keep going.
Oh, it's definitely what I call a cliff notes to stay conscious and awake, during times of loss, because in loss we can go right to depression, not move, we can get stuck. And if you will see it as a way to stay awake, this book will help you stay awake during your loss, whether you're helping someone die or you're dealing with a job loss. It will help you stay awake so that you can continue to grow during the loss. And when you come out of the loss, you'll actually be better off than when you started the loss.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great way to put that. Well, we have a couple more things to talk about, but I have to ask you this story because I'm sure people are wondering this. You worked in New York. I can relate to that because I worked in New York, and you said it was, your love, and you worked in TV and you did creative things. Give us a story. Tell us something that you did there.
Well, I think the main thing is I moved there not knowing a soul, which I think is pretty brave.
Mm-hmm.
And I did acting in the beginning. Theater was my background. And then I added producing, which I really love producing. And that led to film work. And then I made a feature film, which was really quite exciting. And then I moved to television. Really, I love creative work. I absolutely love creative work. If I don't have creative work, I might as well leave the planet, frankly, Kate.
I love that. Feature film. What was the feature film?
It was a feature film I made called Best Wishes, which I did in festivals all over the country. It never got picked up, but it was Best Wishes, which was a friendship between two women and what they learned through each other. Again, about going for their dreams. Always go for your dreams.
Wow, and that just plays right into what what your book's message is in a little bit of a twist. And hey, congratulations on that, because to go to those festivals is no small feat, by the way, for anyone that's listening to us. That's pretty big still to be able to travel and do that. What do you hope people take away from the things that we've talked about from reading your book?
That they actually have more power than they know. Loss can make you feel powerless, make you feel hopeless. And remember that we all come in with exactly what we need for our journey. And you have to tap into it. That's the trick. Please know that you have everything you need inside of you. You got to look within. If you look within, you can heal yourself and move forward.
Yeah, you talked about the 30 years of work that you've done. That had to have helped you, one, in writing the book, but also in dealing with what you dealt with, right?
Oh, it certainly helped because I meditated every day. And meditation is just focusing your attention, frankly. But I meditated every day during my mother's illness, and it kept me balanced even though I was in great pain. It kept me balanced, and it kept me moving forward in my homework. The homework kept me alive because I wanted to keep moving towards self-love. And to be honest, I did do it. I did find my self-love.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I like the way you said that too about the meditation, because a lot of times people have this fear of meditation, like, oh, that's just for, I can't be cross-legged on the floor, and that's, that's way out of there. That's crazy. It's not crazy. I mean, seriously, I've known very stiff, suited up business people that learned how to do it, even if it's for 5-10 minutes, and man, did it center them.
Oh, I think meditation is fabulous. And in my second book, The Heart of the Matter, I call it really, it's just focusing your attention, closing your eyes and focusing your attention on what you intend to do within meditation, whether it's just to ground yourself or to release anxiety or to do your homework, really meet different parts of yourself. Meditation, I used to do it in the hot tub because I needed the heat to hit the heavy emotions that I was avoiding. So I did it in a hot tub. You can do it anywhere. You can lay down, you can sit up, you can do it anywhere, except driving. Can't do it driving.
Yeah, I like that. So I'll mention this too, because the book we're talking about is How Learning to Say Goodbye Taught Me How to Live. And we're speaking with Joffrey McCling, and of course you can pick it up on Amazon. It's right there. But also this other book, Heart of the Matter. So now you're pretty prolific. We have something else coming up?
Well, I have a third book, and it's going to include The Heart of the Matter. The Heart of the Matter is really a guide and workbook to moving towards self-love. The third book, it's all about self-love. It has my personal story, where I lost my self-love, how I had to find it again. It has my personal story, so you understand why I wrote The Heart of the Matter, the workbook, what propelled me to do it. So it's really a much more personal story, which should be out, I'd say, in the next few months.
Yeah. For you in pulling all these books together, that's that creative outlet, right? That you talked about, that when you left New York, the acting, the producing, the writing, all of that, even though you left New York, you didn't leave that behind, really.
No, I really didn't. I didn't know I was going to be talking about spiritual things, in all honesty. As I say now when I talk to people, that I came out of the spiritual closet, so to speak. I kept that kind of separate and to myself. But now that I'm out, I've written 2 books and I've said what I've said. I'm out of the closet, frankly.
I love that. Well, this book is fantastic, and I know there's people out there that are experiencing all kinds of loss, especially we see now too, job loss, other things that happen in your life, like Joffrey said. So pick it up. How Learning to Say Goodbye Taught Me How to Live. Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.